Good morning and welcome to our morning devotion. This morning, I want to talk with you about rejection. If you're a Christian who has experienced rejection, you are in good company. In fact, the long list in the Bible of leaders and patriarchs who faced rejection is huge. It's a huge list. You see, even in the book of Hebrews, it clearly writes of the heroes of the Bible. As you go through Hebrews 11, it talks about, they call them heroes of faith. And these are people who faced rejection every day. They're people who overcame great obstacles. And it's interesting that they are labeled this way. It says, by faith, Noah, by faith, Abraham, by faith, Sarah, by faith. By faith, Isaac, by faith, Moses, by faith. When we get down to verse 32, I love what it says here. This is profound. What it says is, time is too short to tell about Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David, Samuel, and the prophets, who by faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, obtained promises, shut the mouths of lions, quenched the raging of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, gained strength after being weak, became mighty in battle, and put foreign armies to fight. Now, what this speaks to me is that these people were overcomers. They didn't let the things that came into their life overcome them, especially that spirit of rejection. My prayer for you is also that you overcome these obstacles in your life that keep you from experiencing the fullness that God has created you for and the purpose of your life. So many Bible leaders, as you can see here, had to overcome rejection in their lives. And today, let's just look at Daniel. We look at Daniel's life. First of all, Daniel is a prisoner of war. He is taken away in the Babylonian exile, and he is put into a situation where he is completely away from his family. His beliefs about the way that he had been brought up to eat they were being rejected. He wasn't allowed to eat the way that he wanted to be, but he stood up for what was right. He chose to obey God, and that was honored. He was found to be way more intelligent than the other people that were there. Now, it came later on in his time there that he had risen to this influence. He had risen to this place of being equal to the other top leaders in Babylonia, but he was still not accepted as one of them. In fact, they wanted to get rid of him. And so they made a plan to get rid of him by making a decree or inciting the king to make a decree that no one could worship anyone but him for 30 days. You see, in this time, there was a lot of different gods. And so for him to say, okay, today, for this month, I'm going to be top God and everybody's going to worship me would have been a sign of honor to this king. He didn't remember that one of his top leaders followed a God much higher than him, the God of Israel. Now, Daniel was obedient to God even amongst this. Every day he knelt down 3 times, and in Jewish tradition, where he would have knelt, he would have faced the temple in Jerusalem. No matter where he was, he would have orientated his body so he faced the temple in Jerusalem. No matter what the cost to his influence, his reputation, or his well-being, he chose to obey God. He did not care whether or not he was being rejected, whether or not his influence would still stand, whether or not his reputation would be ruined. He chose to obey God. This man who changed the face of history simply by pressing on towards his goal of being obedient to God. I know sometimes that this is challenging in our everyday life, that when we are faced with the influences of our friends or our jobs or just our communities, sometimes it isn't as easy to be obedient to the things that we know God is asking of us. I pray that this week that you will press into God and towards that goal of being obedient to Him, even when it's hard. God bless you. May you feel His presence with you throughout this entire week. Goodbye.